Hey everybody, Belinda Sandor here. How's everybody doing? I'm very excited for today's training. I love this training because I think it just like pulls the blanket back, on the whole topic of what being a virtual assistant is. Because I know a lot of people think it's one thing when it's really something different. I had my eyes really opened up recently when one of the women who went to VA school said, I thought a VA just did social media. And so I never looked into it because I don't like social media. And you don't have to do social media as a VA. You don't. And so today we're going to talk about that. I'm also going to talk about things that are sort of taboo. We're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about how much money you can make. We're going to talk about what does it take to be a VA? What skills do you need? So what I've done is I've come up with 7 questions, and we're going to go through them, and then we're going to get your questions answered as well. So as people are joining in, I'd love to hear, where you're coming in from and where you are on your VA journey. And you know what I'd really like to know? What's your biggest question? Like, what is the question that's like, I really want to get this answered, and then I'll know if this is for me. I know a lot of you that are here and watching the replay were part of my 5-day Kickstart challenge. And, after sort of trying on being a VA a little bit, seeing some of the ways that you can get clients, I imagine some of you are thinking, is this for me? Is this for me? And that's why I scheduled this time for us to be together to talk about it so that you can decide. So let me know in the comments what your biggest question is and where you're coming in from. It is really cold here. I woke up, it was 40 degrees. 40 degrees. Wasn't quite ready for that. Was not quite ready for that. So tell me, what's your biggest question? What's your biggest question about being a VA as you join? Hey, from Maryland. Hey. I'm going to be in Maryland soon. Driving through. Yeah, so tell me, what's your biggest question? Is it about where to get clients, or how much money can you make, or what's the lifestyle like? Love to answer all of those. All right. So while you're putting that information in and warming up a little bit, let's jump in. Some of you may be brand new. I know a bunch of people joined both the challenge, and we had like 40 people join the challenge after the challenge, so that they could, I think, see the replay and check everything out. But you may not know my story, so I'm just going to buzz through it really quick. So this is my daughter, Emily, when she was 9. And this was when I started my VA business. So that was 11 years ago. And I was in a place, I was in a place that I never thought I would be in. I had a ton of debt, like a serious ton of debt. I hadn't been able to pay the mortgage for over a year. So you can imagine the stress involved in that, and trying to raise money and trying to keep everything together. And frankly, wondering where I was going to live, where we were going to live if I couldn't pull it together. I didn't have any family around. Closest family was, oh my gosh, back then, Alabama. So, and that's a 19-hour drive. I was a newly single mom. I was going through this, all divorces are messy, they're all messy. And I didn't have a job. So I was trying to figure out how I was going to take care of me, how I was going to take care of Emily, how I was going to hold it together for us, when I was in this very precarious situation. And the thing is that everywhere I looked, there was a mess. And I was so overwhelmed, I didn't even know where to start. I also had to move 3 times in 4 years, which was kind of a big deal. It's a big deal in several ways. One, just the physicality of moving all your stuff, and the other is, you have to touch everything, and there's memories, and there's decisions, lots of decisions. Do I need this? Can I keep this? Will this fit in my new place? Because I moved into a much smaller space, And, like the couch didn't fit. So what am I going to do with that? And will I ever be able to afford a couch again? It was just crazy. It was just a crazy, crazy time. It was a crazy time. And like I said, everywhere that I looked was a struggle. It was a struggle. So here's the other side. So it's actually, I've been in business 11 years, and I've worked with more than 200 clients, and I've made over $1 million because this first year I was in business, I figured out how to make $70,000. And every year since then, for the last 10 years, I've made $100,000 or more. So I was so shocked when I added that up, when I was creating this slide for my lives, and thought, holy cow, and I did that from the chair I'm sitting in right now in a corner of my house. I had a laptop, and I had my phone, and that was kind of it. And I was in the situation that I was in. My computer was old and didn't work, and I needed a laptop. I needed to be mobile for a lot of reasons. And I borrowed my friend. My friend had a credit card, a Dell credit card, and she wasn't using it. So I bought the laptop that I needed and all the software. And then I started making monthly payments on her Dell credit card because I didn't have any other way to get a laptop. So that's the kind of situation I'm talking about that I was able to pull out of. And it took hard work. It took determination. It also took me investing in myself, because I didn't know how to do it. It's one of those things, if I had known how to have a business successfully, I already would have had one, but I didn't know. So I took a lot of coaching, and I actually hired a coach who helped me with the mindset shift stuff. And I had another person helping me understanding how to set the business up. And I don't mean like the EIN, I mean like how to talk to my clients, how to price, really all the things, plus some more that are in VA school. It's really about how to be a successful business owner. You can Google, Shopify, and not to minimize it. I know Shopify, that's like a whole thing, but you can get training on that. What is really hard to get training on is specifically how to run your business so it will be successful. That's the hard part. Hey, Sherry, good morning. Sherry and I talked the other day. It's good to see you. And hello from Amsterdam. Hello. And I see your question here. We're going to definitely get that. All right. We're definitely going to get to that for sure, because that sounds way too low. Way too low. All right. So that's where I started, and it was it was a challenge. I had to trust, and I also had to not question the help I was getting. I found people who had what I wanted, and when they told me, for example, in order to get clients, just like I told you in the challenge, you need to start a newsletter. And I didn't want to start a newsletter. I didn't want to do that at all. I didn't consider myself able to do the writing, but I toughed it out. And I joke that it took a whole bag of potato chips and an entire day to write the first one, at least. But I did it, and he was right. And so I just took coaching from him until I was able to, well, I still do, but I just got to this point where the momentum built, and I started to gain confidence, and I started to make enough money by following people who already had what I wanted. So that was really a critical point in my success. And here's what it looks like now. So this was us last summer, and everything has really changed. I feel like I have choices. I handled the debt. I can make decisions. And what I mean by I can make decisions is when you're under so much pressure, and you're struggling with all these minimum payments on credit cards, and I just didn't feel like I had any choices. I felt like I had to do what I had to do because I was stuck. And because I was almost 50 years old at the time, I thought, what? It's like way too late to turn this ship around. Like, I'm just going to have to deal. And I was sort of resigning myself to this was the way it was going to be. What the exact phrase, which is kind of funny that I was saying to myself, was like, okay, buckle up, buttercup, because like, this is it. You made your bed. And that's pretty harsh talk, I would never say that to someone else, but I was saying it to myself. And so that's also where the coaching came in, because I had to do a lot of mindset shift, a lot of walking kind of out of the ashes of where I was and this life that was such a mess in order to climb back on top of it. And the thing that I remember, and it's funny, this picture reminds me of it because I was talking to a friend of mine on my phone, and I was in the backyard, which is where that picture's taken. And she said to me, if I would have told you, this was right after I moved to Connecticut. So it was about 6 years ago. She said this to me. If I would have told you 6 years ago that Emily was going to be in great shape, because, all that change, that's hard on a kid, right? All the moving and, the parents and all the things, even in the good circumstance. She said, Emily's going to be in great shape. She's going to be like tearing it up. She's going to have friends and she's going to love school and be doing really well and excel. That you're going to be in an amazing relationship. Like, we just got married this summer. I'm the luckiest woman on the planet. Greg is so good to me. You saw him in the challenge. He's worried about me. He was bringing me tea because we were on together for like 2 hours. And he just puts me first. And I've never had that before. And to find that and to get married at 60 is kind of crazy, right? It's just a little crazy. And she also said, that you'd have a thriving, making over $100,000 business, that I'd feel settled and happy and all those things. I would have said, I would have said, you're kid, no way. Like, why are you saying that to me? You're not even being nice to me by saying that. Because I didn't think any of that was true. I didn't think any of that was true. Yeah. Sherry said she saw that. Yeah. He brought me tea. Yeah. He's good. He's really good. And you know what else he does? He, every morning, because he knows I have a hectic schedule, I like to have a salad for lunch. He washes the lettuce and puts it in the crisper, like all cut up, because that's the part about making a salad that's not really fun, right? The cutting the lettuce, I hate that. So I sound spoiled, I know, but I am. But he does. He cuts the lettuce up, so I just grab it and put everything together and go. So yeah. So so what I want to talk about today, we're definitely going to talk about VA school. I'm not going to fool around, like I'm hosting this today because I want you to decide if you want to be a VA, and if you want to be a VA and you want to be successful, if your next step is VA school. So that is on the agenda, as well as making sure you get all your questions answered. I just want to be transparent about that. Tonight is the last night to sign up for VA school. So midnight Eastern. And when you sign up, you'll get this bonus, which is a whole session on discovery calls. Discovery calls are when you get on the phone with a potential client and you discover, whether or not you're a good fit. So that is a very useful bonus, and it's something on top of the other bonuses that I'm going to talk about a little bit further into the presentation. The live stream. I've been in corporate for too long, presentation. This is time with you is really what I mean, but I just have all this business language in my head. Anyway, so there's that. And then the other thing I want to be really clear about is that if you have a question, I don't want you to be at 11:59 tonight and have a question about VA school. Hold on a sec. I want you to I want you to decide. And we talked a lot about that in the campus tour. If you didn't see that, the replay is posted everywhere. And if you can't find it, let me know. But we talked about mindset, and we talked about powerful language, and that's a really important part of all this. So what I want you all to do when you're coming to the decision about being a VA, when you're coming to the decision about whether or not VA school is for you, I want you to shift your mind into powerful language. And that was a big first step for me. So instead of, I don't have the money, what I would love you to say is, I've decided not to, or I've decided I'm going to, and now I got to figure out the money. And not even that, where's the money coming from? Like, ask the question, where is the money coming from? So it's a much more powerful place than I can't, because we can do whatever we want. You have to make trade-offs, So one of the trade-offs for me, frankly, to afford my rent in the place I wanted to live with Emily, was we didn't have cable, because that was $200 a month, right? So, all right, we got Netflix, we're fine. We lived, we still don't have cable because it just seemed like, it's expensive. We don't have a home phone. We don't need a home phone, but that's one of the reasons, because I just found that there's places in my life when I started to take control of my finances and really pare them down so I could get on top of everything, that I had to cut out. And I don't miss them. In fact, a lot of the ones I cut out made my life improve, because I didn't have the news on in my living room all the time, which is so depressing sometimes. So anyway, this is about, powerful decisions. Hello, Brenda, who made a powerful decision, and she's joining us. We were together last night. So really about stepping into that, and also looking at how is your life going to be different when you make that decision, and it'll be different either way, and no judgment about which way is the way for you, but decide. Don't just let it happen to you, okay? Because that's where there's no power, and that's where we get lost, and that's where we as people, but really as women, we get lost and we don't take a stand for what we want. And I don't mean I just mean this is what I'm doing. I've made a decision. Here we go. Okay. So the other thing, so text me, DM me, know that I'm available. Okay. All right. All right. So now let's jump in. So again, for people who are new, the Virtual Assistant Connection is a community that I have built with your help for the last couple of years. We have over 15,000 members in 147 countries, which is crazy. And I started it because I'm really committed to connecting and educating VAs all over the world. And that's really what this community has become. And VA school has become a natural next step for me in order to get the word out and to be able to help and train VAs to have the successful businesses that they want, whatever that looks like, part-time, full-time, all the different things. So, okay. All right, we're going to start at the top. Now, if you did the challenge, we already covered this, but there is some confusion here, so I just want to briefly go over it again. So a virtual assistant provides administrative, technical, or creative assistance to clients, but instead of working full-time for one person, they work virtually, usually from home, providing these services to a range of clients. So you don't have a job, you are a business owner, and you have clients who you help in all different kinds of ways. There's not some specific track that you need to be on. There's not a specific set of skills. There's all the different. There's a million different things you can do. In fact, we're going to talk about it more when we specifically talk about services, okay? But just know, you could be a bookkeeper, you could be a proofreader, you could be a writer, you could be, and attach all of that to administrative or technical skills, and or creative. You could be like a rocket scientist at Canva, or, creating graphics, or, whatever it is. And it all works out. And you don't have to know all the things, because there's a lot of things I can't do, but I have people who I've met over time that I just bring into the project, and the client loves that. All right. They don't feel like, oh, she can't do that. They're like, whoa, okay, I needed that. She can't do it. Here we go. Right. So that's awesome. All right. So these are the questions that I came up with that we're going to talk about. And we're also going to answer any of your questions as well. So the questions that I thought were important were, are you ready to work on your own? What do you need to get started? Where do you get clients? How much money can I earn? What training is required? And can I work part-time? And who hires VAs? Okay. So any other questions you have, please put them in the chat. I really would love to, make sure that all your questions get answered. Okay. And let me say this too. If you have a question and you don't want me to put your name on the screen, just let me know. Just say, in the question, just, please don't put my name on the screen, because I know some of us are shy, and that's okay too. All right. Okay. The first one is a big one. Are you ready to work on your own? So instead of showing up and having someone tell you what the work is, you go find people who need help and you help them. You decide how much you get paid. You decide all of those things. So the first thing is really, do you want to be a business owner? Because being a business owner means taking care of your stuff. It means, getting a business bank account, which is not a big deal. You it's not a big deal. Figuring out, getting an EIN. This is all covered in VA school. If you're Canadian, there's a different, way to do that. But getting the business set up, which is essentially getting an EIN and a business bank account, and if you have to file something, in your town or your city, handling that. Okay, setting up an LLC, again, pretty straightforward. You don't have to do that to start. You don't have to do any of that. In fact, I never did that for my Rocket Girl Solutions business, my VA business. I'm a sole proprietor. So it just depends on your situation. Because remember, I didn't have anything that, there was nothing to take. An LLC provides a layer of protection, and it's easy to do, but you don't need it to get started. You absolutely don't. But you do need to think about yourself as a business owner. You need to get yourself a computer if you don't have one. You need to, make sure you have a phone that's working and that people can, get in touch with you. You need to have a way for people to pay you. And you need to track your expenses so that you can deduct them from your taxes. And this, again, is all covered in VA school. We actually have my husband, who is a CPA, certified public accountant, come and answer all the questions. We have an attorney come and answer all the questions. And we have a business insurance guy, Sal, who comes and answers all the questions so that you can hear from experts. Because while I feel that I am qualified to teach you how to run your business, I am not qualified or trained in those areas. I got help setting mine up, and I did what worked for me. Okay. And so we want the same thing to happen for you. Okay. So do you want to be a business owner? And the other thing is, are you self-guided? Which means, can you put yourself in a chair, the hours that you need to in order to make the money you need to make, and to do the work for your clients. So if you're the kind of person who, gets up and kind of wanders around and it's noon before you know it, you're going to have a talk with yourself, because unless your schedule, which it could be, is to work from noon to 4 or noon to 7 or whenever it is, you have to put some structure in your day in order for this to work, because people are depending on you, and there are deadlines, just like, pretty much every other kind of work. And then this is an interesting one, because when I first started out, my brothers have these big corporate jobs, and they have 401ks and all that kind of stuff. And I thought to myself, am I out of my mind to have my own business? Like, what am I thinking? And I thought, I just thought I just kept doubting it. And then what happened was, I saw people get fired or laid off, and my thinking shifted quite a lot, because I realized that with the number of clients that I have very little risk. If 3 of them quit today, or 4 or 5, I would be fine, for 2 reasons. 1, I have more, and 2, I know how to get them. And that did not change during the pandemic. If anything, it speeded up. It speeded up a lot in 2020. 2020, I took on more clients than I had for years, pretty much all at once, because people were kind of flipping out about, oh my gosh, I need to do this, this, and this. And it has not slowed down at all. So think about it there. So like when Greg went to work last March and his boss said, we no longer need your services, single point of failure. One guy decides, we're done, you're done. That's not the case with being a VA. Now, let's talk about health insurance, okay? And stay with me through this story, because it took me a while to understand what was happening. So I was talking to one of my friends who's very successful. He was the one that helped me a lot setting up my business. And I said, what about health insurance? And he said, just make enough money to pay for it. And I was like, oh, right. What are you talking about? Like, I thought he was joking. He wasn't joking. So I did that. I just made enough money to pay for it. And my health insurance is not inexpensive. It's $1,200 a month. And if I told you my deductible, you'd be like, are you insane? But that's just what it is. It's what it is for me and Emily. And, but I make enough that I could pay that every single month and still take care of us, because of how I've set up my business, because I know how to get clients, because I know how to manage it, because of all those things. Not because I know Shopify, but because I know how to manage and run my business, okay? Hi, Tina. Do you always need to set business hours? Well, It doesn't, so that depends. Okay. So let me just think about that for a minute. So you can do it a couple of different ways. In VA school, you figure out how many hours a week you need to bill to hit your financial target, right? Because it's really important to know, because so many VAs sit at their desk all day and say, I'm at my desk all day and I'm not making any money. Well, that's because you're not charging enough, or you're not really doing billable work, or there's some reason, which we will uncover quickly. But so you need to know how many hours you need to bill a week to hit your financial goal. Okay. Whether that's, $20,000 a year or $100,000 a year. So that's number one. And then you need to do what it takes to get the work in, which we started to talk about in the challenge. And if you have clients who regularly need you because you're helping them run their business, you're going to have to make sure that they know when you're available. And you're not going to want to make it change every single day. Like this week I'm doing this and next week I'm doing that, because that will make them crazy. They're going to feel like they can't depend on you because they can't remember the schedule, So you're going to have a conversation. This is when I work Tuesdays and Thursdays from this to this. And that doesn't mean that you're chained to your desk, but it does mean that you're watching your phone and you're watching your computer, your email, or whatever. So, I hope that answers your question. You just need to set expectations. Like, I could be gone pretty much all day today, and I don't have to tell any of my clients, but I do need to check in. I can't just, without telling them, go completely away, because if they ask me a quick question, they expect that I'm going to answer it, because I've trained them that I'm at my desk pretty much from 9 to 6, which is when I work. Okay. And yeah. So the thing is, it's your business and you get to decide, right? Which is great. And you just need to communicate. That's a key. All right. So let's talk about what you need to get started. Thank you for these questions. Please keep them coming. You definitely need a dedicated workspace. You don't need an office. You don't even need a desk. You can have a door on, sawhorses, but you need it to be a place where you can keep your stuff and no one touches it. Because part of the beauty of this is that you can just pop in and pop out, to your desk, and everything is set up. My family would not take anything off my desk ever. I mean, I have these 3 screens here. I refer to this as my money-making cockpit, because that's what's going on here. And I need to be able to, I need to keep it set up so I can, put a Post-it reminder up, or I need to, have my applications, and no one can touch my computer. It's mine more than almost anything else in the whole house, probably. So you do need a dedicated workspace. And the other thing is, I had a friend for a long time. She wanted to work on the dining room table, which is fine, but it was actually the kitchen table. They had to eat there every night. So she would complain to me every day, I have to pack up my stuff. Move your desk. She had a whole house, it was a little house, but it was a house and there were just 2 of them living there. Use the living room, use something else. So you do need a dedicated workspace. I'm just reading what Danny's saying. Let's just jump in this right here. Hi, Danny. I feel like a fear of failing tends to prevent a lot of people from doing this kind of business. In particular, when you are failing a client, are those areas you touch on in VA school. Conversations to have to clients, what to say when things don't turn out as a client has asked, etc. Especially how to protect your relationship and your reputation. Yes, we definitely talk about that. We talk about the interpersonal things. We talk about the words to use. We talk about how to handle it if you make a mistake. I make mistakes. I am not perfect. Did you guys get that email from me 2 days ago when it said we're having the campus tour at time? There was no time there. There was no 2:00, So I've done that with clients as well. So we talk about how you handle the mistakes, how to work with a client. So when you realize a mistake has been made, if you get in over your head, I've been in over my head. I have definitely been over my head. And that is the worst feeling ever. ever, because we want to make them happy. We want to please them. We want to do a good job. So we talk about that. There's nothing we don't talk about. And, it's interesting because in the challenge, in those 5 days, I had to pretty much keep us on track because there were, so many, there was 1,100 people in the Facebook group. And if I went off track at all, we were just going to hit the wall. VA school is very different in that and I had to also, because one day we had 141 questions, I can't go into everything. In VA school, I can. We have enough time so that in our study hall sessions, if you have a question about this is what happened, we dive in deeply, very deeply. And if we need to stay on an extra 15 minutes or half an hour to do it, we'll do that. It's not like, oh, sorry, we'll do it later. It is not like that at all. It's like me and you. Okay. So I get all of that. And that is a huge part of it. Oh, good. Yay. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. It's how to have conversations about I'm raising my prices, or, it's just all the conversations, because those are the hard things, right? Anybody, I shouldn't say anybody, but you could Google something and figure out, like today, I'm doing a presentation, a workshop, actually, Q&A after this for my VIP club. And one of the women asked a question and I had no idea how to do this. I was like, okay, but she asked me to explain it. So I figured it out in about 25 or 30 minutes. And now I know how to do that. And, and so anybody can do that, or you can phone a friend, a technical friend, and say, how do you do that? What you can't, what the struggle is, the voice in your head when you want to raise your prices and you think, like, not to over dramatize, but you think if you do and it doesn't work, everything's going to go away. That's how I felt. Like, if I raise my rate and I do it in a public way and no one shows up and my other clients leave, I'm done, so that's the kind of stuff we talk about. All right. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Brenda, hello. A few days ago, I caught only part of you mentioning a hotspot. Do you have a specific brand or type you find really reliable? I have internet that's great 99% of the time, but that 1%, yikes. I'll tell you what I have, but what I did was, it's tied to your cellular service. I went to the AT&T store and I said, show me what you got. And they showed me, or you know what? I didn't. It was during the pandemic. I had to replace it. I called them on the phone and they sent me links and showed me what they had. And I made a decision. I have a Netgear Nighthawk. And before that, I don't remember what I had. But I don't have it for the 1%. I have it for traveling, because when we go, like when we drive Emily to school, we're in the car for 9 hours. I literally get in the back seat with my laptop and my hotspot and I work, because what else am I doing? Well, there's some looking out the window, but we're just trying to get there. And I work. In fact, I made a joke. I posted about it. Was billable from the back seat, so you can really do it anywhere. But that's why. So if you the 1%, I think you're going to be okay. I think you're going to be okay. All right. So what do I need to get started? The next thing is you need to be able to articulate what you do. And you learned that, you learned how to get started with that in the challenge. I'm a virtual assistant. I work with solo professionals and, small business owners. I specialize in helping them with A, B, and C. Okay. So we talked about that. You're welcome, Brenda. And then you need to be just as crystal clear about your pricing. And we talked a little bit about that in the debit card course workshop yesterday. When you're not clear about your pricing, it's like a no-go, because people don't feel like you're in business for real. And it's tough. So we have an entire module in VA school all about pricing, how to talk about it. Just like how to talk about your work, I have this like very similar words for how to talk about your pricing. It's simple. Here's how it works. And there's a formula to how you do that so that they understand. You say the thing and then you stop talking. You go way in depth about that. There's also how to raise your prices. All the scripts are there. The templates, like when I raised my prices, the words that someone helped me write. There's a section on getting clear on your pricing. There's a calculator on that you put in numbers in an Excel spreadsheet that's like a calculator, and you can figure out how many hours you need to bill to make the number that you want. You can adjust it. There's just a lot of stuff in there, a lot of stuff. And if you want to see what that is, two things. One, we had a campus tour a couple days ago. The replay's everywhere. The other thing is tonight from 7 to 10, I'll be in Zoom. There's a link in all the groups, and there's an event in all the groups. You can come in, and I'll show you the back of VA School. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay. So in addition, clients are everywhere, and we talked about that for 3 days last week, and I gave you like a window into how you can start doing that. There's a whole module. There's over 50 videos, and there's a whole module on that, on each one. So where do I get clients? There's actually two. There's it's called the sprinkling method, and that's really like being everywhere all at the same time, but with a system, so you're not killing yourself. It's actually really simple to follow, and you do it pretty much every day. And you're checking emails and your newsletter, and I give you the newsletters. It's all there. So there's a whole module on services, how to get better at your services. Well, we're going to talk about services in a minute, but where to get clients. There are 2 whole modules and probably 12 or 13 videos. But the real gold in this course is, the videos I think are good. I didn't just start talking. I wrote down what I was going to say and was very thoughtful about it. But the real gold is in those hours, 2 hours at least every single week in a Zoom room. It's not like this where you're typing in the chat. It's me answering the question and then saying, does that make sense? And you saying, no. Can you show me this? Or can you show me how to do that on your screen? I'd say, yes. So people ask questions, and I just open up my computer and we climb in to whatever it is, whatever it is. So, all right, I want to talk about money, okay? Because this is a big one. All right, so someone had a question about that up here. Okay, let me go find that. All right, I'm way too low currently. I have 6 clients, but under $100 each. So how many hours are you working for the clients? It sounds like you're charging them $100 a month or $100 a week. So if you could give me more information about that, I'm happy to jump into that. All right, so while I don't know who this is, but they're on Facebook, while they're answering that, I'm going to keep going. But as soon as I see your answer, we'll jump in, okay? So for those, this is really interesting. Perspective is everything, right? Perspective is everything, because a bad month for me is $3,000 or $4,000. A good month for other people is $3,000 or $4,000. And so when it comes to pricing, it's a lot of it is an inside game, inside your head. And that we help a lot with in VA school, because people will be earning $10 an hour, and you don't have to do that. Like, I don't even want to talk about $10 an hour. I want to start talking $25 an hour, $35 an hour. And the thing that happens is people think they have to pay their dues. I've just been a VA for a short amount of time. There are no dues to pay. And I say that a lot because I just really want to get that point like hammered home. There are no dues to pay. I started at $50 an hour. And part of that was because no one was telling me I couldn't, because I didn't know any other VAs. And it was like such a new thing. I just made it up. And then I raised my rates. So now since 2016, it's been $90 or $100 an hour, depending on how much time people buy. But and I don't think it's a good idea to start at 90 unless you have a lot of confidence, because you're going to be like freaking out all the time. But I built it over time, over the course of a few years. Let's see, 2016. So over 5 years, I raised my rates from, I doubled them from $50 to $100 an hour, a little at a time. Okay. So really it depends on your confidence. And when I say skills, we talked a lot about this in the challenge. last week, it's not skills like, ClickFunnels and marketing automation. It's skills. It's really more about curiosity and ability to figure it out, more than anything, because I had to figure out stuff all the time. I would say my number one secret sauce skill is Googling. Googling. Yeah, that's how I figure it out. Like today, it was funny. I was Googling something and I got this really complicated answer. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot figure this out. There's too much code involved. And then I typed the same thing again and I wrote easy in front of it, easy way to add a event to your calendar. And I got a free solution that was really easy. And I figured it out in like 15 minutes. Okay. So Google is your friend. It's definitely your friend. So I can't give you a set answer, but I want you to start, $25, $30, $35 an hour. It's a very reasonable amount of money. Okay. Now, I just pretty much did tell you my story. So how it worked was I started at $50 an hour. Then when I had a handful of clients, where I felt like I was like getting to the point where I had enough money and to like just cover stuff. All right. And then I was encouraged to raise it to probably higher, but I was being a chicken, to $60 an hour. And then I got more clients. And then some of the $50 an hour people went away because that's what happens. So now I have more room for the $60 an hour people. And then I raised it to 70. And then because I really was being a chicken, I raised it to 75. I shouldn't say that. I love chickens, right? I have 12 of them. But I was feeling like, every time I just thought, okay, this is it. Like it's going to be over. And it never was. I actually went all the way to $120 an hour. And I brought on 23 or 26 new clients that year. But the problem was that they weren't giving me a lot of work because I was too expensive. So I went back and I lowered my rate. And it was not horrible. It was not humiliating. It was not all the things that you might think. I just said, hey, this is where the sweet spot is. This is where the people who I love to work with, this is how much they were willing to pay and provide me with the amount of work that I liked. So I only had to lower a couple, and I just went from there. And that's been my rate since 2016. I don't have any plans to change it because I already tried that. And maybe if the world changes, but probably not. I'm pretty satisfied with where we are right now. So I don't know if this Facebook user is still here, this person, but maybe I've answered your question. So we talk a lot about money, a lot, really a lot. There's a lot. I think I really poured a lot into the videos because it's such a minefield, money. So I'm going to help you with that. Okay, training. All right, so you guys, if you did the challenge, you have the ultimate virtual assistant money-making task list. That's the 12-page document that really goes into detail about all the different services that you can offer. You're also welcome to look at my website, rocketgirlsolutions.com, click on the services page, and you can see the services that I offer. In the beginning, that was not my services page. That's my services page now. But we also talk a lot about how to phrase your services on your website and all of that. Oh, the other thing I want to tell you, because it's not in this because we don't talk about that, but when there's a module all about websites, like specifically what you need to put on it. And I give a whole tour of my website and why I did everything I did. And then there's a next steps. So to get a basic website and then to take it to the next level. So that's all in there. And then the other thing that's part of VA School is if you send me your URL, there's a place to, you email it to me. You send that to me and I will critique your website. I turn on Loom Video, walk through every single page, read it, look at it, and give you suggestions. So that's part of it as well. I just want you guys to be successful. The training is really, I have to change my glasses. The training is really, something, sorry, someone's calling me and it was distracting me. The training that you need, you will pick up as you go. And your clients are going to teach you how to do things. For example, I have a client she teaches courses, and she wants me to make graduation certificates. She could have said, will you make graduation certificates? And if I knew how to do that, I'd go into Canva and I'd find something and I'd say, how's this? And she'd say, make it blue, make it yellow, change the thing, put my logo on it. Okay, no problem. It's a conversation, right? But what she did, she said, here's the file I want you to use. Just change the names and save them in this way. She even made me a video how she wanted me to do that. That's how it happens a lot. You don't need to go in with all these superpowers. I knew Office, like kind of, not like I could teach a course, but I could like type in a document, and I kind of knew how to do a mail merge from the 90s. And I knew enough Excel to put, to make not even a lot of formulas, but, to put data in it. But not a lot. And I knew a little Constant Contact because I used to send out newsletters for another business that I had. So that's enough to get started. But clients will train you, or they'll ask you to figure it out for them. And so the business of a business is the key that you need to be successful. And so that's why I started VA School. And you can find out more information there. Let's see if I have that in the banners. I don't think I do. I wanted to put this up. I forgot. These are the people who have signed up so far. I totally forgot about that. And check this out. So everybody's back here that signed up so far. So you can see that people are coming in, and it's really very exciting for me. Very exciting. So these are all the latest people. So some of you will see your name down there, which is super cool. This is in something called StreamYard. I'm so glad I went to look for the banner because I forgot that I did that this morning. I don't see it, but it's definitely, you can find it at this URL. Hello, Janet. Welcome. Your name is up here because you signed up. There you are right there. Okay, good morning. Okay, so VA School is, it's a 6-month program where I'm going to teach you exactly what you need to start, manage, and grow your business. It's really the business of the business. The conversations you need to have, the language you need to have, to set your prices, to understand your business. There's a million templates. I teach you how to track your revenue so you can project out how much money you're going to make. And the other thing that's kind of interesting is that a lot of what is in VA School, I do with my clients as well. They'll come to me and say, oh, I need to do, I need a newsletter. And I say, great, let me show you mine. I want to update my website. Sure, let me show you how I did that on my website. So you'll find that as you grow your business and the things that you learn in VA School, you'll be able to charge your clients for as well. Okay. So now let's talk about working part-time. Okay. A lot of you want to work part-time, and I totally get that. You can do that. That makes you still a full-fledged VA. It just means you're working fewer hours. I went full-time because I need to make a full-time, it's not even a salary. I needed to make full-time revenue right away. So I just went in full-time. What I did was I was at my desk all day, and probably at night too, because I was really pushing this. And when I had client work, I did that first. When I didn't, I worked on my business, and I just kept working on my business until I just reached sort of a certain point, and the business was coming in, and then I had to balance that. But the client work, of course, came first, and I was busy. I was definitely busy. But working part-time, you can do that. What you need to do, and maybe this goes back to, I think it was Tina. Tina's question is that you have to consider the type of work. If you have a client that wants you working alongside of them during the day, that won't work. If you have a client that asks you to do something on Monday that they don't need till Friday or Thursday, which I have all the time, that works. You've got like all day, 3 days, night and day, you can do whatever you want. You can have a job and you can do it in the evening and get it back to them. That's fine. I work in the evening sometimes when I take time off during the day. And I email my clients and say, here's what you were waiting for. They're happy. And you set expectations, if you're going away or you're not working on Fridays or, you only work till 3:00, you want to let them know that. And here's another little pro tip. When a client emails you and asks you to do something outside of when you've told them that you'll be there, you might need to gently remind them. But you don't have to work during that time. You're in charge. And there's plenty of work. Okay? I've said to clients, they've come to me at 6:00 at night and I have plans and it was not to work. And I've, just said to them, if I see it, like if I'm just getting up from my desk at 6, I'll say, I just saw this come in. I'm out for the night. I can get it to you by 10:00 in the morning if that works. Or if I don't see it or I decide not to answer because it's 7:00 at night, I'll email them the next morning. Just saw this. Happy to help you. How soon do you need it today? And those are the kind of conversations that we have in study hall. When those situations come up, we pick the words together. All right. That's the hard part. Oh, and then a consistent schedule. So clients know, they know when to expect things back. And that it could be working the same days every week, or it could be when an email comes in, setting the deadline with them. And a lot of times clients won't set deadlines. You have to go back and say, when do you need that by? Or I just do it. It depends on what's going on in my business at that particular time. All right. Okay. So who hires a virtual assistant? Anybody that understands what we do, like seriously. So small business owners, authors, financial planners, coaches, consultants, nutritionists, recruiters, real estate agents. I've even hired VAs in the past to help me with my work. So, and the present. So they're just like, the only person that probably wouldn't be interested in help is someone who's maybe working part-time and someone with a job. But entrepreneurs are born every single day, and they're all over the place. And sometimes VAs help get hired to help with personal stuff. Like I had a client who she ran the neighborhood homeowners association, and there were all these documents that needed to be updated, like the plumber people recommended, or I don't know, this spreadsheet. I did that. So it doesn't have to be all business unless that's what you want it to be. It's just really helping people with their world, in any way that we can, that we enjoy. All right. So these are the questions that we talked about. And I'm wondering if anybody has a question that they'd like me to answer. And while we're waiting, I'm just going to put this up. So if you like what you hear, if you want to be a VA, if you want to move forward and take the next steps, I want you to come with me to VA school. Here's what's included. So the 10 modules, and I'll buzz through this quickly, but the 10 modules with over 50 videos, templates, handouts. We have 5 bonus sessions. We have my colleague Lisa Corrado comes in. She does 2 mindset sessions that are mind blowing. I'm like taking notes like crazy because we all need this. So that's what's included in that. Over 50 videos. The debit card system, which we talked about yesterday. The done for you email newsletter that we're going to talk about today at 2. The template library, which I just talked about, and it has like scripts on how to fire a client. Like, what do you say? And it has the revenue calculator, and there's a cash flow calculator that I've had for like 25 years. That's really great. I'm sort of drawing a blank right now on what all the things are, but let's put it this way. Oh, the script for how to raise your prices. Also, the email that I send out every time a new client starts. So all of that's in there. Every single thing I do is in there. The things I use every day. We have a Facebook group. It's actually 6 months where we are together in a community, and I'm in there every day, and we get questions answered. There's also the study hall twice a week for 2 hours where it'll be us in a Zoom room together answering questions. I'll bring something to talk about, a topic, but we can talk about anything. If you want to talk about something we don't talk, we don't teach for a month, we'll talk about it anyway. There's no, putting on the brakes. And then the Rocket Girl Show. For those of you who know about the Rocket Girl Show, it's a series of videos that I created over the last couple of years. There's over 100. They're like 3 to 7 minutes each, and you can really get information about specific topics. The difference is that these have been downloaded. They're all together and they're categorized, so they're all easy to find. And when you add this all up, it's $3,597. And some of these things are available for purchase by themselves, but together, the price is $997. You can also make 5 payments of $215. So that's really what you need to get started if you want to join us by midnight tonight, $215. And then you have a few months to to figure out how you're going to make the payment every month. The payments will be 30 days apart. And when you're through with VA school, or, literally before, you can start making money right away. You can definitely start making money right away. And I want you to look at how this sort of pans out here. So let's say you get 1 client, okay? And let's do some math, all right? Let's say you work at $35 an hour, which is not high for a VA. It's not high. And you work 8 hours a week. 8 hours a week. That's it. Okay. Couple hours a day, 2 full day, 2 half days, whatever, 8 hours a week. That's $1,120 every month. So that is like beginning, like, 1 client, first client. And the total of VA school is $997. So you've already paid for it in 1 month. Yeah. So if you decide to join, this will be your next steps. I would love to have you. You go to the vaconnection.com/VA school, and you choose the option to join, whichever one works for you. You will come to this page, or the payment, the $215 a month payment, and you'll get this confirmation page when you've signed up. Then you'll get an email from me that has all the stuff you need to know: where the Facebook page is, how to, where everything is, all the dates. And then you'll go here and you'll log in. You create your username and password while you're signing up. And then you will come to this page, which I'm going to explain in great detail tomorrow during our school assembly. I'm going to show you the Facebook group. I'm going to show you everything. Everything will be recorded. If you can't make it, you'll see all the dates for study halls. I'm going to show you how to download them to your calendar. I'm going to take really good care of you. All right. And this is what you can do to get started. So if you have any, I do have my phone number, so let me just grab that. If you have any questions, shoot me a text. I would say call me, but I have so many robocalls, I can't pick up my phone because it's just so annoying. Shoot me a text. We'll either talk on the phone, we'll get on Zoom, whatever works. Okay. All right, you guys. Thank you. I see there's a comment. Good. Danny, that's awesome. We're going to get started. Okay. We're going to get started. All right. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you at 2:00 at the email newsletter. Bonus training session. Also tonight from 7 until 10, I'll be in Zoom. If you want to chat, I would love for you to come. All the links, all the things are all over the Facebook group. I'll see you guys in a few hours. All right. Bye-bye.